Ontario 5-Pin Association, Bowl Ontario, and once again, Fraser Hambly. These provincial championships continue to be the highlight of the bowling season, and to their credit, several Hall of Famers are both bowling and coaching this week. On a personal note, this is my 50th year of bowling in the qualifying rounds, as in 1966 I bowled the final 10 games at Olympia Edward in downtown Toronto. I didn't qualify, but I do remember the zone was led by Toronto's Russ Duggan. I was obviously a very young man. This year, I will bowl on the Ontario Durham Seniors team, while in the men's teams and in the singles, and it's really of note, Terry Little of Western Ontario, Jim Thorpe, who's over here, of Middlesex Elgin, and he led the zone this year, and Paul Asselin of the Niagara Peninsula are all in the singles, and I assure you all have a very good chance of bowling on this finals. Brenda Pankoff is here again. She's on the Middlesex Elgin mixed team. Well, on the singles are Pat Jepson in Western Ontario, Mickey Piker is in Niagara, Diane Harrison is in Metro Toronto, Norton Sims will be bowling in Grand River, Bernie Menard in the Ottawa Valley, and in Tri-County, Ken Rohr and Sue Wanklin. Coaching are Mariana McConey with the Western Ontario men, and with the seniors, Ian Wilson will be coaching in Hamilton, and the medical marvel himself, Glenn McGee, will be coaching in the Bay of Quinte. So congratulations to all of those bowlers. Also, as we age, we can also pay tribute to our Hall of Famers who have passed away since last year. And today, let us remember, just for a second, Theda Procher, for example, and Henry Fair. Henry Fair was tournament director of the Masters for over 40 years, and Theda was living in Barrie, and believe it or not, was somewhat close to her 100th birthday. So Henry and Theda Procher. On the upside, spring has arrived. The Toronto Maple Leafs are rebuilding. I just have the same thing every year. And we can look forward to exciting times with both the Toronto Raptors and the Toronto Blue Jays as one enters the playoffs and the other team starts a new season. Well, let's meet our Hall of Famers, and as I say, some notes that change from year to year. They don't change very much, but as I say, before even starting, it is just a pleasure to see everybody and to thank you for coming. And as I say, our Hall of Fame chairman is Fraser Hambly, and Fraser continues to influence our sport, bowling on the lanes, helping on the admin side. He's vice president of the Masters, a four-time Ontario singles champion. He won in 68 and 73 and repeated in 1990 and 92. His first two wins were parlayed into Canadian titles. He's won high average titles in 7 consecutive decades, the owner of 16 perfect games, and is voted by his peers the #1 male bowler of all time. He's recovering from health setbacks, and he's also a sponsor here this weekend. Our money just showed up as Don Betts arrived. That's good. Fraser Hambly, ladies and gentlemen. Jennifer Gay is now our Hall of Fame secretary, and she's a former president of the Ontario 5-Pin Bowlers Association and also a life member of the Ontario 5. Jennifer Gay. Over at the scoreboards, we got presents here, Jennifer. You might have bought some of them. Come on over and get them. Helen McCallum is here again this year as usual. Nice to see Helen. She's home here at the Sherwood Lanes. 25 years as the part of the management team and very involved in the presentations. To reach the Hall of Fame, she rolled record scores across Ontario, starting in Woodstock, continuing in Hamilton, Sudbury, and Barrie, and then Hamilton. She's won 5 national titles and 10 NBA events and qualified here 28 consecutive years. Helen McCallum. Paul Asselin, as I said, is here. He's bowling, and his bowling is good as ever. He'll be on the Niagara men's team and in the singles. He's been a master for over 40 years, and this is his 49th time in qualifying for the Open. But Paul won a Masters tournament last November, and this year at Playmore Lanes in St. Catharines is averaging 275. I'll ask him, where'd he go? There he is over here. Come on up, get your stuff. Look at stuff. Marnie Galloway's here from Kitchener-Waterloo. She's a member of the Double Crown Club, winning the national singles title in both the C5 and the Masters. She won the Masters in 1981 in Ottawa and the C5 Ladies Singles Crown in '83 in Thunder Bay. Marnie Galloway. John Mattioli is here. He's born in Fano, Italy, and has enjoyed 2 bowling careers. He was on CBC in '63, qualified and won the Open in '68 with the Toronto men. This year he's back in the Open. He's been a dominant player in league play and the Masters. He won the seniors singles here last year. So congratulations and welcome back to John Mattioli. Mickey Piker continues to bowl. He's a regular on the with his tournament play and on the NBA Seniors Tour. He bowled in 25 Opens. It's 2012. He bowled a 369 single in this Hall of Fame game. Once again, Mickey Piker. I say Terry Little is still an active bowler, and this week is the singles representative from Western Ontario. He banded wool in the Open in 1980, and this year is 34 consecutive years. He won a team title here in '95, the singles in 2010, and of course his famous perfect game in 2002, winning over $18,000. In the Masters, he has 4 provincial wins and 6 national medals, and with his partner Janet, they own Ridgetown Lanes in southwestern Ontario. Terry Little. Kenny Rohr is here as well from Woodstock. He was inducted into the Players Division in 1995. He's bowled for over 50 years, and in the CBA, which was the precursor to a lot of this, he rolled an 11-26 triple at their year-end tournament. He dominated league play and tournament play, and in his day bowled a perfect game in 1960 and won the Canadian title that year in Calgary. On the Tri-County Seniors, Kenny Rohr. Gord Hobson is here, and he won 6 NBA events, a perfect game. He won a new car one day with us. He was bowling on the senior tour. He seems to be having a little bit of back problems this year, but hopefully we'll be able to get him back. And once again, Hall of Famer, on get up. There you go. Oh, okay. Gord Hobson. Never far behind is Pat Jepson. Inducted in 2001, she was a proprietor for over 25 years. A former BPAO president, she raised millions of dollars for charity through her center. She's been inducted into the Brampton Sports Hall of Fame, and she bowls on the Western Ontario senior team. Pat Jepson. Bernie Menard is here, and he's representing, of course, the large Menard clan. He's won 11 NBA events and 2 gold NBAC gold medals. He has 14 open appearances, winning a national bronze. He's on the Ottawa Valley Seniors team. Bernie Menard. The snowman is here, Al Snow. Where's Big Al? Whoa, here he comes. He bowled at 30 Opens. He was a teammate of Basil Gazdia in 1965. He had a perfect game here in 1986. And in the Masters, he won 3 tournaments on the regular tour, and in his races 2014, 1 on the senior tour. Al Snow. A real gentleman, Cass Hollick, is here. He bowled in this event in the late 50s. And continues to support this Open every year. He won tournaments in Stony Creek and Hamilton and across Ontario, and had high averages in league play as well. Cass Hollick. Howie Baker is here from the Blue Water Zone, a career volunteer. He's done every job at the local level. He's now living in Listowel and doing a little bartending and having some fun with life. Howie Baker. Ian Wilson is here from Hamilton. His career began in 1962. He's got 2 perfect games. 1978 Masters win in Calgary and a mixed team here in 1984. He's coaching the Hamilton Seniors. Here he comes, Ian Wilson. Margie Bratkin is here, a member of the Hall of Fame. She's been a perennial participant in the Open for 28 years. In tournament play, she won several national titles, including a new car in 1967. In '73, she won the Canadian Masters title, and her and I won the '77 double knockout in Oshawa. And a year ago, she was inducted into the Central Ontario Hall of Fame. Marg Bratkin. Roger Davies joins us from Oshawa. Roger won the singles here in 1982 and also won nationally that year in Calgary. Once again from Oshawa, Roger Davies. Norton Sims of Guelph is bowling here with the Grand River Seniors. He only bowled 1 year in the YBC, but he won the national singles title that year as a senior. He continues to, he went on to dominate the Guelph bowling scene and stars in the Open and the Masters, as well as the major leagues of the day. He's also a top coach, as we say hello to Norton Sims. Chuck Park came through the YBC program at Parkway Bowl in Scarborough. In 1973, Chuck joined the Masters and for 920 games averaged 258, an outstanding total. He won 5 events, appeared on Hamilton television, won 3 national gold. He qualified for 14 Opens with 7 as a singles participant. And 1977 was a member of the Canadian champion mixed team, and that group also won the Ontario Winter Games. Chuck Park. Diane Harrison, after bowling in 23 Opens, she now keeps an eye on her daughters. I think they're bowling on the Toronto Ladies team. She's a dominant player in the Masters and league play. And this week she's on the Metro Toronto Seniors. And certainly we welcome Diane Harrison. Brenda Pankoff is a relatively young Hall of Famer. She developed her good habits in the YBC. Won a whole bunch of Masters tournaments. She's got 6 gold medals and a national singles crown in 2000. She qualified for the Open 33 consecutive years, and she also served administratively with the Masters in the 05 in London, was number 10 on the top 90 list in Ontario, and is on the top 100 list in Canada. But she's got to get that elbow fixed up somehow. We need the magic man somehow to look after that, but that's Brenda Hancock. Just 94 years old, we say hello to Primo Falcioni. Where's Primo? There he comes. From Italy, he led the strong Italian influence into our sport starting in 1952. He won his first high average title and was part of the powerful Dorigo teams that dominated the City Major League. But he continues to enjoy the Open and just loves to come over and say hello. Do you need any of that stuff, Primo? No. He's got everything. Good for you. Primo Falcioni. For 94, not bad. Get the shoes on. Where's Valentin? Walter Valentin, of course. He began his volunteer career in bowling in 1955 and before joining the OBC in 1971 and he moved on to the proprietors in 72, and his efforts built bowling through the boom years at every level. He now lives in Oshawa with his wife Trudy. He's our former Hall of Fame chairman, Walter Valentin. Mariana McConey is here, the proprietor of Palladium Recreation in Windsor. He was former president of Bowl Canada. He's been the backbone of the Windsor 5-Pin Association for over 20 years and president of the Ontario Proprietors for 9. And this week he's coaching the men's team from Western Ontario, Mariano McConey. Another one of these proprietors, Don Gorman, began his bowling career in the YBC program at April Lanes. He went on to become a Canadian champion, also owned April Lanes and Rouge Hill Bowl, the former Bowl Ontario president, and he made his mark on the lanes and off the lanes as well, Don Gorman. From Stony Creek, we meet Hall of Famer Bob Coulter. He's, of course, past president of the Hamilton 5-Pin Association. He's coached several provincial and national winners, was part of the Kids Help Phone team here that raised thousands of dollars, and he's taken a clean living course, which is quite something. And of course, he's a 50-year volunteer with the Ontario 5-Pin Bowlers Association, Bobby Coulter. Ann Depew is a former everything here in Hamilton, from the YBC to the presidency of the zone to the management of this bowling center. Ann and I, of course, share the same birthday, March the 27th. That's Easter Sunday. She's just a touch older than I am. If we put us side by side, I don't think I'd win. That's the problem. But always a pleasure to see Ann, and we always can remember Ron Depew, who certainly was here every year and passed away a few years ago. Ann Depew. Here's the former Ontario champion from Niagara who won here in '84. He's the owner of a 262 lifetime average in the Masters. Don Betts has been to the Open 26 times and still has all the skill and talent to dominate in our sport. Don Betts. Sue Wanklin is here. She participated in 38 consecutive Opens with Tri-County, an outstanding achievement, and now she's switched over to the seniors team and certainly playing with the Tri-County seniors. Sue Wanklin. Inducted to the Hall of Fame in 1992, Nick Pagniello has 16 MBAO victories, and I think that's more than anybody else. Nick Pagniello. He also won 3 aggregate titles in Ontario and 5 gold medals nationally. He's retired these days, but he's still bowling, playing a little golf. Nick Pagniello. Pleasure this year to see for the first time Jim Fedorenko. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2003. He had enjoyed success as one of the lucky bowlers who bowled in the Philippines and was selected as he won the Canadian singles title in 1979. He also owned Echo Bowl in Brantford, and as a proprietor set standards of business excellence that few have rivaled. From Brantford, Jim Fedorenko. We move along to Jim Thorpe, who continues to star in the bowling world. He leads the NBA Senior Tour this year on the flat side by lots of pins. Should be going to Vancouver, and he led his Middlesex Elegant Zone this year. He has 3 provincial wins here, 2 Canadian titles, 1 as a single and 1 with the Ontario mixed team. Jim Thorpe. Glenn McGee, who is a lifetime volunteer, is coaching here for his 28th year. From his Kingston base, he's built our sport at all levels, from Special Olympics to the YBC to the elite. With his wife Sheila, they're antique car enthusiasts and continue to raise money for charity in Eastern Ontario. As I always say, a medical marvel, Glenn McGee. The old grandfather now, Mike Kite, continues his volunteer with the Ontario 5-Pin. He's tournament director here this week. So be nice to the seniors, Mike. He served at the local and provincial levels, and while did welcome the granddaughter recently, both Mike and his wife Doreen were inducted to the Richmond Hill Sports Hall of Fame just last fall. Once again, grandson. Did I say daughter? What do I know? Grandson. There he is right there. Thank you. Hopefully we got everybody. Okay. One lady I'd like to take a wave over there, Pam Lashishin. She's here bowling on the Ottawa Valley senior team. She won 2 Ontario singles titles here, bowling under 2 different names, Pam Dignard and Pam Ryu. That's right, won twice here, several years ago. So nice to see her slipping into the Ottawa team under another name. And then thanks to Brenda Fraser, who certainly does it all. Dottie Britton is here as well, and a former president of the Master Bowlers Association. Dottie Britton has led the YBC down in Niagara and continues to be well known in the area. And certainly, Dottie, nice to see you here this afternoon. Okay, I think that we're all set. We're going to have the boys, Kevin, if you could have the boys put the arrows on. They're on, what do I know?
high game for the Hall of Fame. Paul Asselin today, Peninsula 296. So thank you everyone, and like I say, the opening ceremonies will start shortly.
Test. Hello, 1, 2.
It's all that practicing I was doing in Florida for 9 years. Follow through.
Oh yeah, sure.